Hello and thanks for stopping by. This is South Park Rally for the Sony PlayStation, released by Acclaim in 2000. Booting up this game and seeing the Acclaim logo brings back a lot of memories. You used to see this logo everywhere in the 90s. They published games for almost 20 years for all the big consoles. Now, they have their share of terrible games, of course, but they do have a lot of good games as well, and I think this is one of them. This particular game is a kart racing game, and it's based on the South Park franchise. I would say it's comparable to Mario Kart in some ways, but then it's different in others. With South Park, I'm a huge fan, so to get any game for this franchise is great. To get a kart racing game that works pretty well is even better. Now, I've seen a lot of reviews online where people don't seem to like this game, but honestly, I think this one works just fine. I don't know, maybe you have to be a fan. It's important to know that this is also an early game in relation to the South Park franchise. We're talking the year 2000, which means South Park had only been out for 3 or 4 seasons by that point? That's why the sounds, the references, and all the characters are from the really early years of the show. I think real fans of that era will appreciate this one. It's filled with character sound clips pulled directly from the show. The theme song is there, and there's also additional music in the background of some areas that's in the style of the theme song. And of course, we get Blocky's 1990s PlayStation 3D graphics. We're in a racing game, and you pick a character, and you're driving a go-kart of some sort. Each character is going to have their own different vehicle, which is nice, and they're also going to have their own specific character sounds and clips. There's plenty of variety in this regard, and there are lots of characters. Also, there's a ton of stuff to unlock, and things will unlock in a variety of different ways. I'm not going to list all the different triggers to get these unlocks because they're available easily online, but bottom line, there are plenty of characters out there you're going to want to get. We're talking lots of new racer characters that are available, more than 20 of them. I mentioned this was like Mario Kart, but there are some different things that are going on here, specifically I think in the type of races. There are plenty of different race types. First we have Rally Days. Rally Days is just a straight race. You have to race through all 4 checkpoints in a specific order and be the first across the finish line. Simple enough. Rally Days 2 is a trophy race. You need to race to and collect a trophy in the middle of the map. Whoever has the trophy is the one in the lead, and if someone crashes into them, they drop the trophy. To win the race, all that matters is that you cross the finish line first with the trophy. So, basically you could not have the trophy the whole race, and then 3 seconds from the end you force the leader to drop it, then you scoop it up and step across the finish line and win. It can be a frustrating race to run because at the same time, you could race out ahead and grab that trophy, then make a wrong turn, somebody steals it from you at the last minute, and you can never catch up to grab it. It can be frustrating. The third race is the Cow Days race. This one is where you just need to find an antidote in the middle of the map. You grab it and then race away from all the other racers, because if they bump you, you're going to drop the antidote. You just have to hold it long enough in your possession and avoid other characters, so you'll get cured. You have a percentage meter, and it just fills up the longer you have the antidote. The Valentine's Day race, you have to grab a bow and arrow, and you have to shoot all the other racers to win the race. Spring cleaning, you have to grab a pair of underpants and cross all the checkpoints in order just like in Rally Days, but there aren't enough underpants to go around. It's weird, I understand it, but that was sort of one of the episodes from the early seasons of South Park, so it makes sense in that regard. I've gone through 5 different race types at this point. There are 9 other race types, I believe. They're all races of some sort, but there's some kind of variation where you have to collect an item, or maybe it's just a different theme, but it's all somehow tied to the South Park franchise. There are different maps, as you would imagine, and early on I think you're going to find them kind of confusing. But after you get through the first level, I think you get to a point where you start to memorize what the level layout's like. Or you just get comfortable enough maybe with the handling, and you can stay on course by glancing at the race map at the bottom of the screen and just figure out where to go. There are action items that you can pick up as you race. They're going to give you some sort of a benefit, usually like speed, or maybe it's an offensive weapon that you can shoot ahead to hit other racers, or sometimes you can drop them behind you to slow other racers down. Some will actually be like heat seekers, and they will find opponents, and some just shoot straight. There's a good variety of different action objects here to pick up and throw around, and they all have a theme like you'd expect for South Park. It's going to be maybe a character or an object from the game with the appropriate sound effects connected. If you're a fan, and I'm a fan, you're probably going to like this one. For me, racing games always sort of come down to the type of handling they have for the throttle. How do you have to control the throttle? Arcade-style games, I always kind of have the inclination that I'm going to keep that gas depressed 100% of the time and then just skid around corners. Maybe it's not the best method. But some games just don't allow this, and you kind of have to learn how to use the brake in certain games. Here, we're talking a kart racer. You don't usually need to worry about braking too much, but if you skid off the map, or maybe get hit by an object, a tornado, or crash into something else, you're going to have to stop, take your finger off the gas, reorient yourself, maybe reverse direction, and you got to really focus on going in the right direction again properly. This can be really painful when you're in the lead, then somebody hits you with an object, maybe pushes you to crash into something. Then you spin around, flip upside down, out of control and off course. Maybe you're going to find yourself pressed up against and facing a wall, or in the wrong direction entirely. It takes time to correctly back up, to turn and get back on track. It can be infuriating. You're going to need to get comfortable enough with the maps and the way the controls handle to get a feel for exactly how you need to handle these courses. You're also going to need to remember where all the speed boosts are located and get as many offensive items as you go. Luckily, you can handle multiple at the same time. I find a controller with an analog stick is really useful for controls in this game. I know these types of things are really common, every system has them, but the original PlayStation controller didn't have them. They are a must here, or at least for me. Maybe you're a better racer than I am and don't need them. I don't know. Now, like I said earlier, there are a ton of audio effects in this game. Remember, this was the first generation to use CD media, so they had a ton of space to store audio clips. And companies like this, these types of games, they took advantage of all this storage. I think this is a great game for a South Park fan, and I think, granted, it's nothing like the modern South Park games, still, it's a kart racer from the early days of the franchise, and it's 3D gaming. Very cool. Well, that's all I have today for South Park Rally for the Sony PlayStation. Thanks for giving this video a look, and I'll catch you on another video.